Hi, this is Trudy with Heal Wellness and Therapy. And today I have a friend that's joining me that we are going to be working on self-care of the pelvis. Now, individuals that have back pain and pelvic pain, that their greatest pain is with sitting, oftentimes the key area of the body that you need to tackle is everything from the pelvis to the hip area. And so today what we're going to be focusing on is exercises and activities to create space and opening through the pelvis and through the hip to help you diminish pain in your back and pain in your legs. We're going to begin today with how to efficiently sit to be able to do an activity in sitting when you have back or hip pain. When it comes to doing any amount of seated yoga, sometimes sitting flat onto the floor where your hips are too tight makes it too painful to be able to tolerate sitting there long enough to endure any sort of breathing exercise, meditation, or really just any movement. So you have some options for sitting. The easiest option is you can use a blanket or a towel that what you're doing is just bringing the surface of your pelvis up off of the floor between a half an inch to an inch. The second option that you have would be to use a block, which the block in its medium length is 4 inches or 3 inches depending on the size of your block. With sitting on a block, same idea. All you're now doing is bringing your pelvis a little higher to allow your hip angle to open to tolerate sitting in order to perform the exercises or techniques in sitting. Your final option, which I'm not going to demonstrate today, but I would like to show you today, would be the use of a bolster. A bolster with width is approximately 6 inches wide. So if you know your hips are really tight or your back is super tight, oftentimes performing an exercise on a bolster will allow you to tolerate that seated position with a nice, efficient open hip angle. So now that we've talked about efficient sitting postures, we're going to begin today with a breathing exercise in sitting before we lay down to work on the hips and the pelvis. The breathing exercise that we're going to work on today is diaphragmatic breathing. Now, efficient breathing really is 3 breathing movements. One would be your diaphragm, which is the lower part of your rib cage and your belly. You also have movement through the outside of your rib cage, and you have movement through the upper part of your rib cage that oftentimes happens in conjunction with your neck. Efficient breathing is mostly diaphragmatic breathing. However, with dysfunctional breathing, we oftentimes see individuals breathing mostly through their neck and their upper chest area. So what we're going to do today is we're going to work on a breathing exercise to allow us to really tap into using our diaphragm. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on really evaluating getting into the relaxation response of our nervous system. We're going to do that by focusing on a longer exhale. We know that a longer exhale allows our parasympathetic nervous system, that's our relax, rest, and renew system, to begin to calm our body down as a really good tool to start to do before you do any movements of your body with therapeutic yoga so that you're getting the biggest bang and the greatest gain for your body. So let's begin with placing our right hand on our chest or our sternum, and let's take our left hand and just place it on our belly. Now, as you place your hand on your belly, make sure that you feel like you're just above your belly button where your diaphragm would sit. In this position, before we do any breathing, can you make sure that you can roll your pelvis gently forward and backward, very nice, and find a point that's a little bit in between. Good. And then make sure that you have a little bit of weight onto your legs. Excellent. Right there is nice. In this position now, lengthen the back of your neck and kind of settle your chin a little bit into your throat. Rest your tongue on the roof of your mouth. We know that the tongue on the roof of the mouth is very important for keeping our core and our trunk working, but also to start to relax our body. Then, if it's comfortable for you, slowly close your eyes. Now just begin with just your normal breathing, in and out. And as you're breathing in and out, start to focus on where that breath goes to first. What I mean by that is, as you're breathing, Do you feel the inhale more in your right hand onto your chest, or do you feel the breath first in your left hand on your belly? So the first thing we're going to do is begin to focus on the inhale, and as you inhale, let the left hand at the belly be the first thing to move. It's okay that your right hand moves. You really want to get that left hand to move first. Now let's begin on focusing on really extending that exhale. So start to inhale for 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Opening your eyes. Excellent. Now we're going to move on to working on transitioning to a different position, start a slow warming up of our back, and then we'll get into laying on our back after that. So to get into hands and knees, what you're going to do if you're on a block is just shift your legs to one side, slowly bring the block to the side of your mat, and start to get yourself into a position that you feel that your knees are directly underneath your hips. Knee distance would be 2 fist width or approximately 4 to 6 inches depending on the person. Then it's very nice to look behind you, so between your knees, and align your ankles and your feet with your knees so that we have the lower half in alignment, working our way up to the upper half, making sure that our hands are shoulder width apart, which is slightly wider than our knees, index fingers pointed forward, thumbs spreading them inward as much as possible, and then focusing on spreading the out hands as far as possible. In this position, lengthening the back of the neck and allowing the chin to tuck into the throat as the gaze comes down in front of the thumbs. Very nice. Now, let's try 3 simple, slow diaphragmatic breaths in this position. So keeping your spine nice and stable, thinking about that hand on your belly, lengthening your neck, settling your chin, placing your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Slowly begin to inhale into your belly as your belly drops towards the floor. And then as you exhale, allow the belly to pull up and in, keeping the spine stable, really learning to dissociate the abdominals. Inhale, sinking down with the belly towards the mat, spine stays still. And then exhale, pulling up and in with those abdominals. Very nice massage for your guts, by the way. Inhale, sinking all the way down. And exhaling, pulling all the way up. Very nice. Keeping the weight on the index fingers and thumbs, equal weight front to back. Now we're going to begin working on cat-cow. So begin to inhale, sink the belly first, then sink the spine. Lift the tailbone upward, pull the shoulder blades back, lengthen the neck and look upward. Exhale, pull the belly up and in, arch through the back, tuck the tailbone under, lengthen the neck, tuck the chin inward. Very nice. Inhale, sinking down, lengthen the front of the neck, look up. And then exhaling, pulling all the way up, tucking that tailbone under to begin to open that low back. Inhale through the movement and exhale all the way up. Last time, deep, slow inhale into the movement. And exhale, curling all the way up. And this time at the tip of your exhale, use your arm strength, push yourself back and sitting into a child's pose or seated flexion onto your feet. In this position, allowing your arms to soften, lengthening the neck, settling the head towards the floor. Now taking the focus to that diaphragm. So your diaphragm is sitting between your two thighs right now, allowing yourself to imagine where your low back sits, and then beginning a nice deep inhale into your belly as your low back expands and stretches. And as you exhaling, imagine that tailbone settling, imagine the rib cage settling. Inhaling into your belly, finding that space as you open the low back, and then exhaling, settling down towards the heels further. One more nice deep breath in and exhaling down. Very nice. Slowly coming back up onto your hands and knees, finding yourself in that position. From hands and knees, we are now going to find a way to transition to our back. What you're going to do is you're going to begin to come down onto your belly first. Do that by coming down onto your elbows. And once you come down onto your elbows, slowly allowing yourself to kind of slide your legs back, slide your belly downward. Once you've slid your back down, slowly coming down onto the floor for a minute, taking a rest. Taking a deep inhale into your belly here to find space through your back, and then exhaling here. Using one arm and one leg, gently bending them up and allowing yourself to roll over onto your side and through your side, rather than doing it from a full sit-up position, which puts a lot of tension into your low back. As she slowly rolls herself all the way over onto her back, once we are laying on our back, we want to make sure that our shoulder blades and our low back are in nice neutral positions. So we're going to do that real simply. What you're going to do is just gently roll your shoulder blade back and under so you feel like it's underneath you on both the right and the left side. Then take a moment to take an inhale and lift your lumbar spine as you tilt, and exhale and tuck as you flatten your lumbar spine. Do that one more time for me. Inhaling, arching the back. Exhaling, curling the back. And then find a nice medium middle of the road for me. Very nice. All right, beginning with some hip opening. Take your right knee and bring it to your chest for me. Take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, gently pull your knee to your chest. Another nice deep inhale. And then exhale, pull your knee to your chest. Now, if you are someone with really tight hips and you notice that your knee and your ankle have really lost alignment relative to the hip, you might be that individual that you need to pull your heel outward a little bit just because your hip rotators are imbalanced. So oftentimes it's nice to kind of take a look up and see that your foot and your ankle and your knee and your hip all are in alignment. One more nice deep inhale in and a deep exhale as you pull that knee to your chest. Very nice. Slowly releasing the right knee, foot back to the floor, taking our left knee to our chest. Nice gentle hug, deep inhale in, and as you exhale, slowly pulling that knee to the chest. Nice deep inhale in, and exhale, lining up if we see some changes through the foot relative to the hip and knee. 2 more breaths, deep inhaling in, and exhaling out. And 1 more deep inhale and exhale. Releasing the left foot to the floor, taking our right knee back to our chest, taking another nice deep inhale, exhaling, pulling the knee into the chest. Now take an inhale, and on the exhale with your left leg, slide your left leg all the way down to engage it onto the floor. 1 more nice deep inhale. Exhale, pulling that right knee to the chest, and now taking the opportunity to bring your hands to the underside of your leg to allow the knee motion to open up through the hamstrings and the sciatic nerve. 1 last deep inhale in, and exhale, knee to chest. Very good. With the left leg engaged on the floor, with your neck nice and long and your chin gently settled into your throat, both sets of toes up to engage the nervous system. Take a nice slow deep inhale now and begin to gently straighten your knee to engage and create length through the back of your thigh. As you exhale, gently letting the knee bend back down, never losing the knee away from the chest. Inhaling, gently straightening, and exhaling as you're slowly dropping down. Inhaling and straightening, and exhaling and bending. Let's do one more time. Deep inhaling in and exhaling out. Maintaining holding the right knee to the chest, take an inhale and slowly slide the left leg up. And then on your exhale, relaxing the right foot to the floor. Taking an inhale, bringing your right knee to your chest, and as you exhale, pulling that knee to your chest. One more, nice deep inhaling in, exhaling knee to chest. Now with the right leg, taking an inhale and exhaling, sliding that leg down, engaging it into the floor. Inhale into the left leg, exhaling the knee to the chest. Now, taking the hands, bringing them to the underside of the thigh, allowing motion of the knee, taking a deep inhale here, and as you exhale, pulling that knee to your chest. Taking some tension into the system by pointing the toes up on both feet, lengthening the back of the neck and settling the chin so that we don't have too much tension in the nervous system, but enough to create space through that low back area. Beginning with an inhale, slowly straightening the knee, keeping the knee towards that chest, and as you exhale, gently bringing it down, creating more space through the back of the thigh. Inhaling, straightening, and exhaling, relaxing. 2 more breaths. Slow inhale, go to your edge, not through it, and gently exhaling as you come down. And inhaling in, and exhaling, relaxing. Beautiful. Keeping the left knee to your chest, taking a nice gentle inhale, sliding your right leg up, and then releasing the left leg on the exhale. We're now going to do a particular activity that begins to really open up the hip relative to the pelvis. And we're going to use a block for this, mostly because most individuals' hips on the outside are so tight that if they do a traditional yoga pose, rather than this particular therapeutic yoga pose, they really put too much tension and force into their pelvis and their low back. So, taking a block, placing it into your right hand, taking your right ankle and crossing it over your left knee. In this position, allowing yourself to place the block against the right knee. Now, with the left hand, what she is going to do is take the left hand with the palm up and place it underneath her bottom. As she places her hand underneath her bottom, she's going to begin to put pressure into that hand to stabilize the pelvis and the lumbar spine from movement. Now the focus is going to be on the right knee and the hip. Slowly take a nice gentle inhale into the belly, and as you exhale, gently push the knee away, keeping the lumbar spine and the pelvis stable, feeling the focus of the hip in the outside. Deep inhale in, and exhale, gaining any further relaxation through those muscles. Now maintaining that position, placing the tongue on the roof of your mouth, relaxing your neck in neutral, really beginning to focus on that diaphragm. So deep inhale in and exhaling, relaxing. And inhale. Exhale while always maintaining tension into that outer hip. Deep inhale inward and exhale. Let's do one more breath. Deep inhale in and exhale. Slowly releasing the block from the right knee, taking the left hand underneath the bottom and letting go of there, uncrossing the leg. Placing the block now into the left hand, left ankle over the right knee, block against the left thigh. Taking the right hand, palm side up, placing it underneath the bottom and sitting onto the hand, allowing the weight onto the hand to maintain the pelvis and the lumbar spine. Nice and stable. Lengthening through the back of the neck, settling the chin, resting that tongue in the roof of the mouth, beginning to now focus on the outer part of the left hip. Taking a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, slowly pushing that knee away, finding the edge of where you begin to feel something happening to the outside of the left hip. One more to pick up any extra slack, and exhaling, finding that end range, maintaining the pelvis neutral. Now beginning 4 deep inhales and exhales through the belly. Inhaling into the diaphragm, creating that tension into those muscles. And as she exhales, allowing those muscles to further relax. Deep inhale and exhale. Deep inhale and exhale. Now really slow this exhale down. Beautiful. Releasing the block from the knee, letting the hand go from underneath the pelvis. And then in this position, taking the right knee to the chest, followed by the left knee to the chest, giving them a nice, good little hug. Relaxing them so that they're still hip distance, feet are not crossed. Taking a nice, gentle inhale here, and then exhaling, slowly pulling those knees into the chest. 2 more breaths, deep inhaling in. As she inhales, opening. As she exhales, finding more space. And exhaling. Releasing 1 foot at a time towards the floor. Once both feet are to the floor, we're going to begin with sliding the right leg down the mat, taking the left foot and placing it on the right thigh, taking the right hand and grabbing a hold of that left knee, taking the left arm and gently bringing it out to the side of your body. We're going to be doing a segmental spinal twist, very specific to the lumbar spine and the pelvis here. So the first thing you want to do is holding onto the leg, maintain the pelvis onto the floor. Slowly take an inhale, and on the exhale, how much can you bring that knee across the body before you feel that pelvis begin to lift? And then hold it there. Now, focusing on the pelvis coming off the floor, but maintaining the low back in contact with the floor. Taking a nice deep inhale. And then as she exhales, slowly beginning to segmentally twist the pelvis off the floor. Now focusing on maintaining the rib cage on the mat, starting to lift the low back further. Deep inhale, exhaling, twisting until that pelvis begins, the low back begins, but the rib cage stays. Now finally going to that left shoulder blade, holding that left shoulder blade down, taking a deep inhale. Exhaling, fully twisting right to that shoulder blade, but not past it. Maintaining the tension through the left leg into this rotation, finally lengthening the neck, settling the chin, and turning the gaze to the left to counter that spinal rotation. Once we're in that position, lengthen your neck and settle your chin. Very good. Find your gaze, place the roof and the tongue together, close your eyes gently, allow no force in your body, but really put the tension into your diaphragmatic breath. Very nice. Deep inhale in and exhaling out and inhaling in and exhaling out. Now maintaining the body as it is, slowly bringing the neck back to the center position. It is key for strengthening our low back and our spinal muscles to come out of spinal twist just as segmentally as you went in it. So focusing on the shoulder blade first and pushing the shoulder blade down. Then focusing on the rib cage and pulling the rib cage down second. Low back, pulling it down, and then this left pelvis, bringing it down onto the mat, finally letting that hip rotator come back to its start position and uncrossing the foot back to the floor, sliding the right leg back up, resting in that position. Let's take both of our knees back to our chest for one little hug. 1 leg at a time. Deep inhale in and exhale, pull the knees to the chest. 1 more breath before we do the opposite side. 1 leg at a time, rest it back down onto the mat. Once both feet are on the mat, this time sliding the left leg down the mat, placing the right foot on the midpoint of the left thigh, left hand reach up and over for that right knee, and the right arm gently comes out to the side of the body. Keeping this right pelvis engaged on the mat first, taking a deep inhale, and as you exhale, segmentally pulling up the tension of the hip. That's all she's got today. Then, focusing on the back, staying on the floor, taking a deep inhale, and allowing the pelvis to lift off the floor second. Then focusing on the low back lifting, but the rib cage staying on the floor. Deep inhaling in, exhaling, lifting that lumbar spine 1 segment at a time. Finally going to that rib cage, allowing it to lift, but keeping the shoulder blade engaged. Deep inhale. And exhaling, finding that end range of that spinal twist throughout the lower part of the body. Now lengthening the neck, settling the chin, gently rotating the head towards the opposite side, the right. Resting the tongue on the roof of the mouth, gently closing the eyes, focusing on this is where you are today. Now to find that space into that spine, deep inhale into the belly, and exhaling, merely relaxing, not pushing. Deep inhale in and exhaling out. Now slowly bringing the head back to the center and coming out of the spinal twist also segmentally. So beginning at the right shoulder blade and pushing the right shoulder blade down. Then the right rib cage down. Then the low back. Then the pelvis. Finally coming out of hip rotation and placing the right foot back down onto the mat. Sliding the left leg up and then gently one leg at a time, bringing both knees back to the chest. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhaling, pulling the knees inward. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, pulling the knees inward. Let's just do one more. Deep inhale in and exhaling the knees to chest. Now slowly bending one knee, letting it come to the floor, followed by the other. In this position, finishing with our final position today, taking your spine, maintaining it in that neutral position. Let's go through an inhale and arch your back for a moment. And an exhale and tuck your tailbone fully all the way under. Now exhale and flatten your back. Good. Maintain that for me. Now slowly slide your right leg down to the right corner of the mat. And your left leg down to the left corner of your mat. And then gently relax your belly, relax your low back. Relax your neck in a lengthened position, settling the chin. Letting your arms rotate open, letting the palms rotate open, letting the shoulder blades fall to the sides of the body. Now, imagine your entire body, specifically your low back and your pelvis, as a sponge. That sponge sitting in a big pile of beautiful, nutritious liquid. What we just did with opening up through the hips and spinal twist is we allowed ourselves to take that sponge and completely twist every bit of liquid out of it to then let the sponge come back down into the liquid and fill it all up with nice, good liquid. And then we pulled it back out and we twisted everything in the opposite direction, took that empty sponge, put it back down in that liquid, and let it get all that new liquid back in there. That liquid is the spinal fluid running through your body, through your spine. It's your lymphatics running through all of your organs, your muscles, your joints. The more we can move the body and create rotation safely, the more we can heal the body. As we stay in our nice settled position, normal breathing, no deep inhale, no deep exhale. Allow yourself to be still. Allow yourself to just focus on that little bit of breath into the belly. And as you take your body awareness and attention to that belly, just begin to count the inhale. So inhale 1, exhale, let it go. Continue focusing on the belly and focusing on your count. When your mind gets distracted, just acknowledge it, accept it, and it's part of meditation. It's part of stillness. Come back to focusing on the belly, come back to focusing on the inhale, and count your breath. Slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Maybe make some circles with your wrists and circles with your ankles. And then when you're ready, just slide one leg up, followed by the other leg. And in this position, gently roll yourself over onto your side. Rest yourself in that position for a moment. Take a nice deep inhale and an exhale. And then on your next breath, on the exhale, use that top arm and push yourself up into a seated position. Hands are to our hearts and smiles are on our faces. Take a nice deep inhale in and out. Namaste. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. So we just had a delightful session working on the hips and the pelvis area. So as we finish, do you have any questions for me?
Well, I do. It's more of something that I noticed that I've been doing my cat-cows faithfully, but I'm not doing them as completely as I should, with as much emphasis. Mm-hmm. And having you right here with me and more or less forcing my body into the correct positions, I felt like I was really doing the exercise correctly. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed everything.
Good, thank you. You know, I will tell you, from being a yoga teacher now for just over 10 years, it is very common for cat-cows to be done incorrectly. People love to move where they already have movement. But the whole benefit of cat-cow is to introduce movement into your spine with your breath that you don't already have. So one thing that I would like to say and show real quickly is when you are doing your cat-cow, the breathing happens from the middle of your low back all the way up. So as you inhale, it's imperative to let your belly go. Let your diaphragm move. And then as you continue that inhale, that is the opportune time to get motion through your rib cage and your thoracic spine. The tailbone lift with the inhale has a lot to do with positioning your pelvis floor so that it has the ability to broaden and expand. Finally, as you continue the inhale up through your neck, it is an opportunity to create space in the front of your neck if you have a forward shoulder motion that you never normally do when you unfortunately sit all day with not being able to fully inhale. Also with exhale, usually where people get the greatest gain with cat-cow with exhale is through their low backs and their hips. So I will oftentimes really get people to focus on tucking that tailbone under, engaging their abdominals to find that space for the low back, and also to really lengthen through the back of the neck, tucking that chin in and looking all the way inward into their belly button. So I think that that's wonderful for you that you found that difference. Come back on over here with me. As we end, what I would like to say is thank you, friend, for joining me. If you like this video, select the like below. Also place any comments that you have for us to reply to. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and most importantly, select that bell so that you will be notified when more videos are to come. Thanks and have a nice day.